Over the last few years, doctors in Australia started noticing an alarming medical anomaly. Otherwise completely healthy people were arriving at clinics with a strange tingling in their fingers and toes, the early stages of permanent nerve damage. When investigators looked for the cause, they didn't find heavy metals or environmental toxins. The patients had poisoned themselves using everyday energy drinks and weight loss shakes. The toxic agent damaging their nervous systems was actually an extreme overdose of vitamins, specifically vitamin B6. These are the exact molecules we need to survive. Without them, our organs fail. But in high enough doses, they flip from biological necessities to toxic threats. We have built an entire wellness culture around the idea that taking more vitamins guarantees more health. Looking closely at how our bodies process these chemicals reveals the danger of that assumption. Vitamins are 13 specific, carbon-based molecules operating as critical machinery inside cells. Vitamin K allows blood to clot. Vitamin A maintains our lungs. Vitamin C and E are chemical shields, intercepting unstable radicals before they crash into our DNA. Despite our dependency on these molecules, human biology cannot manufacture them. Somewhere in our evolutionary history, we lost the ability to build them ourselves. This leaves us as evolutionary scavengers, forced to perpetually extract these specific compounds from our environment to prevent systemic failure. Because we evolved to perpetually hunt for these nutrients, the body developed two entirely different systems for processing them once they are swallowed. The first system handles water-soluble vitamins, like the 8B types and vitamin C. If we eat an apple and take in a surplus of vitamin C, the excess simply dissolves into our bodily fluids and gets safely flushed out in our urine. The fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, trigger a completely different response. Because these are harder to find in nature, our bodies aggressively hoard them, absorbing them through fatty foods and locking the surplus away deep inside our liver and fat tissues. In environments where food is scarce, this hoarding system keeps us alive through the winter. But when exposed to modern chemical concentrations, that same system becomes a dangerous liability as our storage cells overfill. The invisible overdoses happening today occur because our ancient, resource-starved biology is completely overwhelmed by an industrialized flood of nutrients. The modern supplement industry takes these delicate biological systems and overrides them. Manufacturers isolate single vitamins, pack them into massive doses, and strip away the natural delivery systems our digestive tracts evolved to handle. Even water-soluble vitamins fail under this brute force approach. When weight loss shakes and energy drinks dump massive, isolated doses of vitamin B6 into the bloodstream, the kidneys can't filter it out fast enough. The excess molecules attack the nervous system, causing the nerve damage we saw in those Australian clinics. Eating a whole food like an orange or a handful of broccoli works differently. These foods deliver vitamins slowly, wrapped alongside hundreds of other plant compounds called phytonutrients that safely regulate how our bodies absorb the chemical payload. A synthetic supplement is an incomplete biological counterfeit. It forces a raw, chaotic chemical spike into a biological network designed for careful, measured extraction. There is exactly one major exception to this rule, one vital nutrient that our bodies actually can manufacture on their own, vitamin D. We synthesize this hormone directly through our skin, but the process requires ultraviolet light from the sun. Today, our indoor work schedules and the heavy, necessary use of protective sunscreen actively block that UV light. Because we physically block our environment from providing the trigger, this environmental deficit is the singular routine scenario where medical professionals genuinely recommend artificial supplementation. For the average person, bypassing whole foods for concentrated supplements turns a survival instinct into a metabolic burden. We are taking doses of nutrients that our bodies have no natural way to regulate or reject. The safest, most biologically compatible way to fuel the human machine is to drop the chemical copies and go back to eating real food.